Yes, friends, welcome to Galaxy Online Learning powered by Galaxy Tutorials. I am Sunil Desai and we are studying Chapter 4 of Geography, Agriculture. In the last lecture of this chapter, we saw the what what agriculture means, what are the different types of farming, what are the cropping methods. Then we also saw the major food crops. Now, in this lecture, we are going to study about the non-food crops. Okay. Now, the most important non-food crop is rubber. Basically, rubber is a equatorial crop, but but under special conditions, it can be grown into tropical and subtropical areas too. Okay. Now, rubber requires a moist and humid climate with rainfall more than 200 centimeters and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Rubber is an important raw material, as you all know. We can't move without rubber. Okay. So, this rubber is mainly grown in India. It is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and also at Garo Hills in Meghalaya. In 2010-11, India ranked 4th among the world's natural rubber producers. Okay, now here on page number 42, they have given a pie chart and they have listed the items which are made of rubber and are used by us. Okay, the consumption of natural rubber. And what you see in this pie chart is that the total, out of the total production of rubber, 62.2% of rubber is used in automobile tires and tubes. So 62.2% of total rubber produced is used for automobile tires and tubes, and 9.2% is used for cycle tires and tubes. So together it goes to 71.4%. Just imagine 71.4% of rubber, produced rubber is used for making tires and tube. That is why I said that you just can't move without rubber. For transportation, rubber is necessary. Now, 6.6% of the total rubber is used for footwears, 4.6% for camelbacks, 4.6% another for belts and rubber hoses, rubber pipes, 4% used in latex foams, 4.1% for dipped goods dipped in rubber, and the rest 4.7% used for other different purposes. Okay, so that is how the total, how rubber is used, that has been shown. So you understand from this that rubber is one of the most important non-food crop. Now let us come to fiber crops. Okay, crops which give you fiber. Cotton, jute, hemp and natural seed are the 4 major fiber crops in India. Out of the first three, that is cotton, jute and hemp, are derived from crops grown on the soil, whereas silk is, how it is derived? It is obtained from cocoons of the silkworm which fed on green mulberry leaves. Okay, the first three, that is cotton, jute, hemp, are obtained from crops grown in the soil, whereas silk is obtained from cocoons of silkworms which fed on green mulberry leaves. rearing of the silkworm on a large scale to produce silk is called as sericulture. Okay. Now let's come to cotton. Cotton is believed to be the original home India is the original home for cotton plant. Okay, so the cotton plant home is where in India. Okay, cotton is one of the main raw materials for the cotton industry, cotton textile industry. In 2008, India was the second largest producer of cotton after China. Cotton, where does cotton grow? Cotton grows well in drier parts of the black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. Okay. It requires high temperature, light rainfall or irrigation, means it needs less of water. And most important is that it needs 210 frost-free days and bright sunlight for its growth. Okay, it needs 210 frost-free days and bright sunlight for its growth. It is a kharif crop and it requires 6 to 8 months to mature. It is a kharif crop and it takes 6 to 8 months to mature. The major cotton producing states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Now, the other important fiber is jute. It is known as the golden fiber. Now, this jute grows well on well-drained fertile soil in the floodplains, because in the floodplains what happens? The soil gets rejuvenated. Okay, it is renewed every year. So, it grows well on the fertile soils in the floodplains. High temperature is required during the time of growth. So, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya are the major jute producing states. Okay, now this jute is used for making gunny bags, for making mats, for making ropes, for making yarn. It is used for making carpets also. But what is happening is that nowadays the demand for jute is going down. Why? Because the cost of jute is very high compared to artificial synthetic fibers like nylon. So the use of jute is slowly going down. Okay. Now let us see the technological and institutional reforms in agriculture. Okay. See, agriculture has been practiced in India for a long time, since ancient times. But if we don't have certain technical and technology, we don't use technology in it, if there are no institutional reforms, what will happen? The growth of agriculture won't be there. Okay, agriculture won't develop. In spite of development of sources of irrigation, what we see today, irrigation has improved, the source of irrigation has improved. But still today, many thousands of farmers still depend on monsoon for their growth of the crop. Okay, they depend still on natural fertility. So, for a growing population, India's population is growing fast, very fast. But if you still depend on the primitive measures and you don't follow the new technology, the new reforms, then you are going to lag behind. You won't have enough of food grains. Okay. Agriculture provides livelihood to nearly 60% of the people of India. Okay. So therefore, it needs seriously some technical and institutional reforms. Thus, collectivization means cultivating land in a collective way, people coming together, collecting the land together and cultivating, consolidation of holdings, cooperation, and abolition of zamindari were given priority about, and even institutional reforms were taken after independence. Land reform was the main focus of our first 5-year plan. Reforms in land. The right of inheritance, because of the right of inheritance, what had happened? The fragmentation of land had taken place. Means, see, if a person is holding a land, after his death, each and every member, his daughters and son had equal rights of the property. So, that land which one person owned, it got fragmented among his children, and this fragmentation continued. As a result, land holding, which was a big land, collective land, now became into small fragments. So it became difficult for cultivation. Okay. The government of India embarked upon introducing agricultural reforms to improve Indian agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. The Green Revolution, the White Revolution were some of the strategies initiated by the government. But what we see today, that these revolutions have been developing only on selected states. Okay, the Green Revolution or the White Revolution was not covered all over India. Only a few states took the advantage of it. Therefore, in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated, which included both institutional and technical reforms. Provision for crop insurance. Okay, provision of crop insurance against drought, against flood, cyclone, fire, disease, establishment of Gramin banks, cooperative societies, and banks for lending loans at a lesser rate. Okay, were some important steps in this direction. The Kisan Credit Card, the Personal Accident Insurance Scheme, some other schemes introduced by the government for the farmers. Okay. Moreover, special weather bulletins to give instructions to the farmers, and agricultural programs for farmers were introduced on the Akashvani as well as on Doordarshan. You must have heard about the popular program Apli Mati, Apli Mansa. These were the programs for the farmers, okay, so that they will get some knowledge, scientific knowledge from the scientists working in the agriculture field, okay. The government also announced the minimum support price, remuneratives and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation from middlemen. Okay. Now, so this Bhutan Gramdan on page 43. Okay. See, Vinoba Bhave was a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi. He was a spiritual head. He participated in Satyagraha. He was one of the prominent Satyagrahis of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. He was one of the votaries of Gandhi's concept of Gram Swarajya. Okay. Gandhiji believed in Gram Swarajya. That means every village has to be self-dependent. It doesn't have to depend on others. It should be an independent, okay, village. They don't have to depend on some outside. So after Gandhi's martyrdom, Vinoba Bhave undertook Padyatra to spread Gandhiji's message, and he covered almost the entire country, conveying Gandhiji's message of Gram Swaraj. Once, when he was delivering a lecture at Pochampalli in Andhra Pradesh, Okay, some poor landless villagers demanded some land for their economic well-being. They told Vinodbhave that they should be given some land because they are landless. So for the economic well-being they need some land. Now Vinoba Bhave could not promise them anything immediately. So he said he will talk to the government if they are ready to do cooperative farming. And suddenly what happened was that in that meeting, Sri Ramchandra Reddy, a landlord, he stood up and he offered 80 acres of his land to those 80 landless laborers. Okay? This act of donating land is called as Bhudan. Later, Vinoba Bhave travelled and introduced his ideas widely all over India. Some zamindars, owners of villages, they started donating land. When the villages were donated to the landless, it was called as Gram Dan. However, many landowners chose to provide some part of the land to the landless because they were fearing of the new law of land ceiling. Okay, the Land Ceiling Act. This Bhudan Gram Dan movement, initiated by Vinoba Bhave, is also known as a bloodless revolution because in this Bhudan Gram Dan, because of the Bhudan Gram Dan Yojana, many landless laborers got land. The zamindars donated a lot of land to the landless. Okay, the landless laborers did not have to fight for it. Okay. Now let us see the contribution of agriculture to the national economy and the employment and output. Okay. Indian economy का backbone रहा है agriculture. Okay, always. Since India is an agriculture country, so agriculture has been the backbone of Indian economy. But the GDP is slowly registering a fall from 1951 onwards. GDP, the gross domestic produce, is coming down. In 2010-11, about 52% of the total workforce was employed by the farm sector, which makes more than half of the Indian population. That means half of the Indian population depends on agriculture for their survival. Okay? The declining share of agriculture in the GDP, therefore, is a matter of serious concern because decline in GDP will lead to decline in other spheres because other spheres are also, agriculture is the primary sector. Okay, is in the primary sector, so naturally it is going to affect other sectors. Okay, and the society. Considering the importance of agriculture in India, the government of India made concerted effort to modernize agriculture. So, government of India thought now it is a need to modernize agriculture. So, it established the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Then they also established agriculture universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticultural development, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast. These were given priority by the Indian government to improve Indian agriculture. Apart from this, improving the rural infrastructure was also considered essential. Okay, because if the people, more than 50% are living in the villages, then there should be proper roads, there should be proper infrastructure in the villages. Then only agriculture will develop. Okay, so from table 4.1, it is clear that though the GDP growth rate, what you see, the GDP growth rate is increasing slowly. It is not generating sufficient employment. The GDP growth from 7.2, it has gone up to 9. The target is 9.5, but it is not improving. There is no sufficient employment opportunities in the country. Okay, the growth in agriculture is decelerating, which is an alarming situation. Today, Indian farmers are facing a big challenge from international competition because international companies have invaded Indian markets. The import duties are less, so this is not good for the Indian farmers. It is detrimental for the Indian farmers. Okay. So what the farmers are doing? They are slowly withdrawing the investment from agriculture, and this is causing a downfall in the employment in agriculture. Okay. So farmers, instead of investing, they are removing the investment from agriculture. Instead, they are using the land for other purposes. Okay. Now let's come to food security. What do you mean by food security? India is a country with a huge population. Okay. And food is a basic need for every citizen of the country. So it is necessary that each and every citizen of the country should have access to food which provides him the minimum nutritional requirement. The minimum nutritional level of a person should be available. Okay, he should have an access to food which gives him minimum nutritional level. And if any segment of a society, of a country does not have this access, then it is considered that they are food insecure. They don't have food security. The number of people who do not have food security is very large, is disproportionate. Okay, largely in some regions of our country. The regions which are not economically developed, the far-flung remote areas, the far-flung areas of the country, there you see there is high incidence of poverty, as well as a result there is food insecurity too. Okay. In order to ensure availability of food, what the government did was that it carefully designed a national food security system, and this national food security system consists of two components. The first component is to have a buffer stock, means to have enough of stock with the government to provide it to the sector of the society which doesn't get proper minimum nutritional level of food. And the second component is the PDS system, that is the public distribution system. So first making stocks and then delivering these stocks in a proper channel to the section of the society who is not getting food security. Okay, so PDS is a program which provides food grains and other essential commodities at subsidized price in rural and urban areas. So India's food security policy has a primary objective to ensure availability of food grains to the common people at an affordable price. They should afford to buy it. Okay. This has enabled the poor to access of food. The focus of the policy is on growth in agricultural production and fixing the minimum support prices for procurement of wheat and rice. To maintain the stocks, an organization was formed called the Food Corporation of India, and this FCI is responsible for procuring as well as stocking food grains, whereas distribution is the work of the public distribution system, that is the PDS. The FCI procures food grains at the minimum support price, which is announced by the government. The government used to provide subsidies on agricultural inputs, such as they used to give subsidies on fertilizer, subsidies on power and water. But what happened was that because of the subsidies given on fertilizers, given on water, farmers started using fertilizers in an indiscriminate way. They started using water in an indiscriminate way, which led to logging of water, increasing the salinity of water, degrading because of use of fertilizers, the quality of soil started degrading. Because of indiscriminate use of water, what happened was that the groundwater level start going deeper and deeper. Okay, so instead of an advantage, it became a disadvantage. Okay, then only farmers started growing crops which had MSP like wheat and other crops were not grown. So this again resulted in an imbalance, okay, in intercrop parity. So you already know that the consumers are divided into two categories. So this happened because now we know that consumers are divided into two categories. One is the below poverty line, people who live below poverty line, and people who live above poverty line. Okay, so BPL and APL. With the issue price, means the price at which they will get the goods would be different for people below BPL and people above poverty line, APL. Okay, but this categorization was not perfect. So many people who really deserved, the deserving poor, they were not below poverty line. They were poor, but they could not be below poverty line, and those people who were APL somehow managed to go in the BPL. Okay, now you know India, how much of bribing goes on. So many APL people, they went to the BPL, and the really deserving people from the BPL could not get advantage of the PTS. Okay, so let's say now that each district and block can be made self-sufficient in food grain production if government provides proper agricultural infrastructure. It provides proper credit linkages through banks and also encourages the use of latest techniques instead of concentrating only on rice or wheat. The food crop with a better growth potential in that particular area should be encouraged. Okay, instead of only rice and wheat, what can be grown in that particular area, that should be encouraged. Creation of necessary infrastructure like irrigation facilities, availability of electricity may also attract private investments in agriculture. That is what been thought of now. To focus on increasing food grain production, we should be on a sustainable basis, and also free trade in grains will create massive employment and reduce poverty in rural areas. It is being thought upon that if increasing food grain production which is on a sustainable basis is been done, and free trade of grains will be allowed, then that will lead to more employment and that will reduce poverty in rural areas. Now, people are shifting gradually from food crops to cultivation of fruits, vegetables, oilseeds and industrial crop. This has reduced the net sown area under cereals and pulses. Now, the Indian population is growing and the declining food production, it has created a big question mark for countries' food security. The competition of land between non-agricultural users and agricultural users. Non-agricultures want to take the land for making housing complexes. Now what will happen? Slowly the cultivating land will go down. Okay? There will be reduction in the net sown area. Fertilizers, pesticides and insecticides, which once showed dramatic increase. Now what's happening? Because of indiscriminate use of them, the soil is getting degraded. Okay? Periodic scarcity of water. In the summer you have plenty of water in the rainy season, in the monsoons, but in the summers you don't have adequate water. Okay? The scarcity of water, that again reduces the area to be brought under irrigation. Okay. Inefficient water management has led to water logging and salinity of that soil. One important reason of land degradation is free power to a section of farmers, which has encouraged them to pump groundwater to grow water intensive crops in low rainfall area. Now, in low rainfall area where they are growing crops which need a lot of water, so what they do? They start using pumps, and that too for longer time. So what that results into the groundwater level decreasing, going down and down. This is particularly happening because Punjab is, what they are doing in Punjab? They are producing rice which needs water, and so the soil has been irrigated by more and more water. In Maharashtra, they are having sugarcane. Sugarcane again needs a lot of water. So you have pumps, you use pumps for irrigation of that. Okay? So this unsustainable pumping has reduced water shortage in aquifers. Consequently, many wells and tube wells now run dry. So what happens is that the small farmers, okay, the marginal farmers, they don't get water for the tube wells, whereas the rich farmers, they go more and more deep and they get their fields irrigated. Okay. So the small and marginal farmers are going out of cultivation. Okay. Second thing, inadequate storage and marketing facilities. See, agricultural goods are perishable goods. So if they are not stored in a proper way, they are going to go waste. Similarly, if the marketing is not done in a specific time, in a proper way, then again they are going to go waste. Second thing, what happens? When the harvest is ready, all the goods come to the market at the same time. So the supply increases, but at that time there is no demand. So now these farmers have to make a distress sale. Means what distress sale means? They have to sell the goods which they have produced at a lower cost. So it is again not beneficial for the farmers. So it is who is gaining more profit is the middleman, the merchant who is buying these goods from the farmers, and then he is selling later at a high rate to the consumers. So neither the farmers are getting benefited nor the consumers are getting benefited. It is the middleman who is making a lot of profit. Okay. Now let us see the impact of globalization on agriculture. Now globalization is not new for India. Even in the 19th century, people the European traders used to export spices from India, right? Even cotton, which was in the cotton of India, which is of very good quality, was exported to Europe, to England. The mills of Manchester and Liverpool used to run on the cotton of India. So globalization is not new. So you have read also about the Champaran movement, which started in 1917 in Bihar. Why did it start? Because the farmers of Champaran were forced by the Britishers to produce indigo, because the Britishers need it for their factories, for their cotton factories in England. So they forced the farmers to produce indigo instead of producing food grains, which the farmers wanted for their livelihood, for their sustenance, for their family. They need food grains, but they were forced that no producing food grains, only producing indigo, which indigo they needed for their cotton industries in England. Okay. So under globalization, particularly after 1990, the farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges, new difficulties. Despite being an important producer of rice, cotton, jute, tea, coffee, rubber and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries because of their highly subsidized agriculture in the country. So their rate is comparatively low compared to the rate of Indian products. Today, Indian agriculture is on a crossroad. So, to make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and small farmers. The Green Revolution had promised a lot, but today it is under controversy. It is being alleged that it has caused land degradation because of the overuse of chemical fertilizers, and the overuse of water has resulted in drying aquifers, and this has vanished the biodiversity. The key word today is not green revolution but gene revolution, gene revolution, which includes genetic engineering. So genetic engineering is recognized as a powerful supplement in inventing new hybrid varieties of seeds. In fact, today organic farming is much in fashion because it is practiced without factory-made chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides. Hence, it does not affect environment in a negative manner. A few economists, they think that Indian farmers have a bleak future. Future is not good for Indian farmers if they continue growing food grains on the holdings that grow smaller and smaller as the population rises. As the generation goes down, the holdings are going smaller and smaller. India's rural population is about 600 million, which depends upon 250 million approximate hectares of agricultural land. That is an average of less than half a hectare per person. Therefore, Indian farmers should now diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops. What will happen if they, instead of growing rice and wheat, if they start growing high value crops, that will increase their income and reduce environmental degradation simultaneously. Because fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops like the jojoba and the jatropha need less water, they need less irrigation than rice or sugarcane. So what will happen? They will have more profit, farmers, as well as there will be less of environmental degradation. India's diverse climate can be harnessed to grow a wide range of high value crops. Okay. Now if you see the change in cropping pattern, for example, from cereals, from rice and wheat to high value crops will mean that India will have to import food because rice and wheat is much needed. That is the main staple food of the people. Okay. But during 1960s, this would have been seen as a disaster. The people must have said, "Arey, how can we import rice and wheat? That is the staple food, we need it." But today, what we see is that if India imports cereals, while it starts exporting high value products, it will be following some successful economies in the world like Italy, Israel and Chile. Child. These countries export farm products. These countries, Israel or for that matter, they import cereals, but they export high value farm products. They export fruits, they export olives, they export specialty seeds, they export wine, and they import rice, they import corn, they import wheat. So, what is happening is that they are earning more money. To import cereal, it takes less money, whereas when you import high value crops, you earn more money. Okay? So, are we ready to take this risk is the big question today. So, let us see how the government policies and how the new farmers, okay, take to the newfound technology, and let us see how agriculture development takes place in India. Okay, with this we finish this chapter, chapter number 4, agriculture. The questions, the exercise which has been given in this chapter has been solved in a study pack. So I am not going to discuss on it. It's very simple. It has been totally solved. Then you have many more questions in this study pack which have more than textual questions. The textual questions are already there. More than textual questions, questions which have come in the board exam before have also been added to this. So you can go to the study pack. Those who don't have, okay, you can get their studies pack. You can get registered yourself. Okay, for registration you can make online payments. Okay, and these study packs will be delivered to your home. Okay, so go through the study packs and you can solve all these textual questions as well as many more questions which are been incorporated in this study pack. Thank you.